Welcome in, everyone. This is another edition of DB's Best Bets presented by Full Time Roundup. I think episode 18, I believe. Um, I'm your host, Daniel Brackett. And right across from me on the other side of the screen here is my good friend Harrison. Harrison, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. We just watched a phenomenal Champions League game. Excited for the next round of Madrid Bayern, but other than that, can't really complain. Beautiful weather out
And you're on the patio. You had a Coke Zero, watching some Champions League. Sent me a photo saying dialed. I mean, you're really living the life right now.
here. Yeah, I mean, as you said before we came on, the American dream, a Coke Zero and Champions League football. I mean, if you can't, I mean, I feel like that's the best way to describe the American dream.
I could
But yeah,
agree
no,
more.
it's good living out here.
Absolutely. Glad you're doing well. And let's go ahead and jump into it since we have a ton of plays to kind of go over from last week as well as this week. Just high level here, winning weeks for both of us here. Harrison, you went 4-1, and I went 7-2 here. So the boys are dialed. The boys are dialed, and it's good to see here. So let's go ahead and get into what we both took first, since we like to start out, and we'll start with what do we want to start with? We'll start with Stuttgart. Stuttgart
Sure.
plus a half point. This was your read before we got on the phone or got on the Zoom call today and or last week. And I said, you know what? I like that read quite a bit. I'm a big believer in Stuttgart. Bayer, we're probably going to rest some guys due to their Europa League game against Roma this weekend or this week, excuse me, on Thursday. And so, and they had a 2-0 lead and they made it a little sweaty late, but a win's a win. And thank God I didn't take money line and we just took the spread.
Yeah, thank God we did not take money line. I don't know what the deal is with Leverkusen. They just somehow, I don't, honestly, at this point, I have no clue how the heck this is happening, how they just refuse to lose games. But yeah, I mean, the read was right for us for sure. Leverkusen already clinching the title. You get the sense that maybe they'll take their foot off the gas a little bit for Bundesliga. And Stuttgart obviously are trying to finish the season second. I think that would be a big accomplishment for them finishing over Bayern. So them getting a 2-2 draw was awesome. Again, had the lead. We're up 2 goals and so didn't finish it off with a win, which is a little unfortunate for them. But for us, I mean, having the plus half is beautiful. So yeah, that was a nice one on Saturday for sure.
There's a lot of there's a lot of people that will tell you always take the plus money. As I wouldn't say I'm a seasoned gambler, but as from experience getting burned on these money line bets and stuff, sometimes it's good to just take, less odds when it's almost a guaranteed win. And we did that here, which I'm proud of us for that. And I did that today with Real Madrid and in Bayern. And thank God I didn't take Pick'em because it would have been a push. And I actually had Real Madrid plus a half at minus 155. Not great odds, but I was willing to lay the juice there. And, Vinicius with his 2 goals and a late penalty kind of got it there for me. So just, I'm not going to tell you what to put your money on, but sometimes the safer play is the better play. And we've kind of seen a couple examples of that as of late. We also had Chelsea and Villa over 3.5. And thanks to some shabby defending and Chelsea kind of making a comeback in the second half, this was almost a no sweat.
Yeah, I mean, Chelsea should have had the win. Kind of a bullshit ass call at the end there. I mean, I've seen way worse not be called than a little shove in the back. Anywho, yeah, good on Chelsea to get going after a Mark Cucurella own goal 4 minutes in. Um, my guy. So well, a Conor Gallagher banger was really all it took, I guess, for this over to hit.
Yeah, no, and Chelsea overs are a trend that I've been riding for a while now, and I'm just gonna continue to ride it as these teams don't play a lick of defense, and you know they
Zero.
they are Cole Palmer is great in front of the net, so I trust him to kind of cash these overs for me with also terrible defensive displays. So gonna keep taking these blindly, and you're gonna see that here in a little bit. Um, we also had together Man U in Sheffield over 3.5. I think this is the first time that we've had almost a sweep on plays together. We'll get to the loss in a second, but Man United Sheffield over 3.5. Manchester United, kind of like Chelsea, just don't play defense, and they're not bad in front of the net, but they're just terrible defensively. And this game was ended 4-2, and
Yeah.
Sheffield gave them a run for their money, and it was good to see. And I mean, as a Manchester United hater, I love to see it. And Manchester United is also another team that I might keep riding this trend on overs, just because of their lack of defensive stability here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like yeah, exactly what you said. Like Chelsea, you just don't know what the hell you're gonna get with Man U. A horrific Onana turnover,
Yeah, a
just for the
gift,
first goal.
a
When
gift for the over.
I mean, it just gave me absolute flashbacks to what he was doing earlier in the season, where maybe it was not making the saves that you expect, but just lackluster. Um, but then again, I mean, Sheffield, like you can score on them, and so Sheffield getting the first goal honestly was great for that. I knew when it went 1-0 that we have a pretty good chance here. Um, and then yeah, Bruno's had a good goal scoring year.
He's been
Really
really
been
good.
yeah, he's been really solid. Probably he's not even probably. I would say he's been their best player this season.
Easy.
And I mean, 4-2, we didn't really even have to sweat, even though there was only 2 goals in the first half.
Yeah, I actually ended up living Manchester United money line too when they were tied. I just felt like if this is the time to get a Manchester United win, this game is one of those. So ended up finishing 4-2 anyways. So not much of a sweat, but Bruno Fernandez gets it there for me. And then, we almost swept on the plays together here with Liverpool Manchester City parlay. And it's on me because it was my team that didn't bring it home here. Liverpool just completely just just a terrible performance against Everton. We haven't lost to Everton in it feels like years or decades, and they get humbled 2-0 at Goodison. And of course, Manchester City were a no sweat cash, so that's a tough one to swallow. And as a Liverpool fan, it was probably even worse to lose financially, as well as just my heart breaking as this team has just completely ran out of gas.
Yeah, I mean, it is tough to watch. I predicted that they would win the league, and seeing these last couple weeks, it's been hard sledding for Liverpool. Gibson Park was rocking. I mean, obviously it's a Merseyside derby. Those games always are. The atmosphere is always incredible. And let's not. I mean, props to Everton. They played a great game, but Liverpool had plenty of chances. I mean, the end of the first half, especially when it was only 1-0, they could have tied it up, could have changed the entire momentum of the game. Salah looks rusty in front of goal right now. He looks like maybe a little lost. I mean, I don't know. That was definitely a tough one to swallow. I had Liverpool and a bunch of stuff that day, and for them not to get it done, and for them to be beaten comfortably almost in the end, that was disheartening for sure.
Yeah, Darwin is absolutely helpless in front of net. Gakpo has looked better, but he still hasn't added that final goal scoring element. Diogo Jota, who kind of likes a goal against Everton, I believe, is out for another couple weeks now, which hurt. And then Luis Diaz does literally everything world class, and then when it's time to put the ball in the back of the net or for that final pass, he just has this mental block. So yeah, I mean, there's plenty of opportunities to come back here, and at the end of the day, it just seemed like they completely gave up at the 65th minute, and it just was never going to happen. Which I haven't seen a Liverpool give up before to be honest. So this is very new for me, and the team just looks helpless. They just look lost, and it's going to be a tough sledding back, and new manager next year, so maybe that helps things. But I'm ready for the season to end for sure. I mean, I'm sure you've been ready for the season to end for a long time now as a Chelsea fan. But I'm starting to share that sentiment with you, Harry.
Yeah, no, this one's it's been a rough one, Chelsea wise. It's been yeah, just really up and down. Really, just no idea what the hell you're gonna get. For Liverpool, at least like you had
You
that
expect
like
to win,
you
most
expect
of
to
the time.
win. You have the adrenaline of like actually playing big games, which I mean obviously is great as a fan. Like you have games that you're actually excited for. But yeah, no, this these last couple of weeks for Liverpool certainly have put a or it's gonna probably end up leaving the season on a sour note.
No doubt about that. And we'll go ahead and get to my other loss. Was Palace and Newcastle. Um, Finished with 2 goals, so we were kind of close to the push here. This was a midweek game. I just thought Palace had been in really good goal scoring form. Um, as they
They're
started,
flying.
Elise. Wait, what did you say?
Palace are flying right now.
They are flying, and as they started, Elise did not. But they still got the best of Newcastle. Newcastle struggled to score. I think this was a 2-0 Palace game. It feels like so long ago after watching all these games. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was the right play. I think I'm going to take a break from Palace. I actually took them in the weekend. I take that back. I'm not going to take a break from Palace, but due to who they're playing this weekend on Monday. But I did take them this weekend as well, and I lost that one too. So 2 L's in a row for Palace. I'm hoping 2 wrongs do make it right here. So I'll definitely update you in a little bit. But a couple other plays. I basically gave the Daniel guarantee on this Hoffenheim Bochum game, and it flew over on Friday. A good, Friday afternoon. You're kind of getting done with work. First bet of the day. You're like, all right, let's get this W here. And I think it finished
3
3-2,
2.
3-2. So 3.5 was a no sweater. And I mean, Bochum went up for, I think they were up 3-0, and Hoffenheim fought back to cash this for me. So shout out to Andre Kramaric. He was kind of the reason why I cashed this. But I'm just going to keep riding these Hoffenheim overs because they can just continue to print week in, week out for me. So definitely happy about that. Bayer Stuttgart, we already talked about Stuttgart plus a half, but I also took the over at over 3 and finished 2-2. So fun games, equal overs for me, and glad I was able to get home with this one. In terms of my MLS sharpness, Galaxy Austin. I mean, come on now, come on, flew over. I mean, not even a fucking chance this was going under. And then same with Portland versus LAFC. Portland are one of the worst. They're the most weirdest. They're the weirdest team in the MLS. They score a lot of goals, but they also concede a lot of goals. So what's up?
Galaxy Austin finished 2-0.
Shit. Oh no, I went 7-3. That's so brutal. I thought that was a win. Oh no. No. I confused it because I had Miami too. Oh God. All right. Go ahead and pencil that one as an L for me.
Oh
That's
my
such a
goodness.
tough. That's such a that I wanted that over so bad. I actually forgot about that. So that's my fault. I meant LAFC Portland. That was always an over. Excuse me. What?
To be fair, I would understand if you stopped watching. It was 2-0 after 19 minutes.
Yes, I did. I actually did. I was like 2-0, like this is gonna be cake. I think Austin were up 2-0, and I was like, Galaxy are gonna get a goal back, at least to push here or something like that. Yeah, no, that was that my fault on that. I thought that was a cash for sure in my head. But yeah, the Portland Villa or Portland LAFC over 3. Um, hit well. So the MLS continues to print. I don't know why I keep forgetting to put Miami on the bet sheet because Miami games just are always over when you have that man Leo Messi as your number 10. And so definitely keep an eye on that if you're looking for more MLS action here. But we're going to go ahead and shift because it doesn't matter how we did this last week. It matters what we're going to do this week. And so we got some absolute bangers for you this week. We'll go ahead and talk about what we have together again. We have the PSG Dortmund over at 3. And share a couple words on how you feel about that.
Well, if Dortmund can bag whatever it was 4 against Atletico, they should be able to bag bag a couple at least against PSG, who are much more open. I mean, Atletico was supposed to be playing a cagey game and they didn't, or at least once they got exposed, it opened up. And then with PSG, the attacking talent going forward is sensational. Kylian Mbappe, I know you have him goal or assist, but I mean, he should be able to wreak havoc. I mean, if he's not tearing apart Matt Hummels, like I don't know what we're doing here. But yeah, Dembele, another maybe a little revenge spot for Dembele.
He likes
Barcola
that.
has
He
great.
did that against Barca. He scored what, 2 goals
I
against
know.
Barca?
He could go for the tag team. So yeah, getting it at 3 is a pretty good number here. I like this a lot. It should be a fun first leg here.
Yeah, I think so too. And I echo everything you said. Dortmund off a really bad loss to Leipzig, which you actually had the over. Did not mention that, so my fault. But yeah, I actually took that pretty late live, and that was a no sweat. So Dortmund off a really bad loss, they're going to show up today. I think they'll be able to at least get 1 goal. While PSG, I think, are going to win the game. That's why I have PSG tied no bet at -20. I think that's a very safe line, and I'm surprised the line's even at that. So I think PSG are going to win this tie. I think they're going to win this game, and I think it's going to be over 3 goals. And with an Mbappe goal or an assist at -160, not great odds. But when you have a player that's clutch like that, and you get that kind of number, you just got to sometimes hit the juice and go for it. Anytime goal is -110. So,
Yeah,
I like the goal and assist more, but if you want a better odds, then an Mbappe anytime goal is definitely not a bad bet.
getting it
Now,
-110. Getting it -110. That is
I thought
nice.
about it.
That is
I
nice.
thought
I mean,
about it.
especially takes the penalties also. You get that as
Yeah,
well. So I mean, like he scored a what? He scored a penalty against Barca.
he
I
scored 2
think
goals against Barca in the second leg.
he scored
He
2
didn't
against
score in the
Barca, and
first.
he scored 2 against Barca. He scored a penalty, and one of them was a penalty. Yeah, getting with those goal scoring props, especially if you get it at a decent price. If you're getting a decent goal scorer who also is the one who takes the penalties, that's always the one that I try to target, which is why I try to target Cole Palmer all the time with Chelsea.
Yeah, and he's 100% from the penalty spot. Mbappe's got to be close to that. So let's hope he brings home the money for us. Now, you have uh, you have Bayer Leverkusen money line. I have Bayer Pick'em here. So let me just delete this. I accidentally put this. And so talk us through your why you should talk me into taking Bayer money line.
Because this is like all they care about now. They don't have like a season to worry about anymore. And I know that Xabi Alonso is going to get the men ready to go, be fired up for this. I mean, I wouldn't say Roma's necessarily been in they've been in okay form recently. They've been, I think, last 5 pretty mid, to be honest. But this is a Leverkusen team that is absolutely flying, been flying all season, and they'll be fired up. They want another trophy. And it would be an icing on the cake of what's been a historic season for Leverkusen. I mean, already unbeaten, but if they went on to win the Europa League along with the Bundesliga, that's something that hasn't been done in a very long time. So yeah, I think that getting them at +100, I wanted to take the pick'em. The pick'em's like -180. I wasn't gonna do that, so I'm fine with taking them at whatever it was +100. I think it'll probably be this game, especially will probably be a close one. just because it's at Roma and you don't really know what you're going to expect from Roma. I mean, I don't know. I think I just got to play Leverkusen here just because the form
Play
that
the
they're
hot
in,
team.
obviously. I mean, they're the hot team and they're playing for so much more now. Almost it feels like the opportunity to win two big trophies is massive. So
Yeah.
they'll be fired up for it.
Yeah, and Florian Wirtz and Boniface both rested before this. Granite
Yeah.
Xhaka rested this weekend, so the boys are have fresh legs. And I was watching that Roma game against Napoli. They didn't play the best game, and they started all the guys. So I do think that Bayer Leverkusen should win. I might take this in solidarity with you at some point, not on the sheet, but I'm going to stick with the Bayer Pick'em and Aston Villa money line, who play Olympiacos. But I feel pretty good about Bayer in that spot, and I think it's time for them to achieve their destiny. Now we also both have Chelsea and Spurs over 3.5, and like I said, just going to blindly take another Chelsea over, and Spurs aren't exactly good at the back either. So I think this game should be a lot of fun, and so should have some fireworks.
They usually tend to. I mean, the last time Tottenham and Chelsea played, Tottenham was playing with 9 men, which was interesting. And Nicholas Jackson scored probably the uh, dumbest hat trick I've ever seen. I think the dude had like 40 chances and was only to bury 3. And then he was given the Ronaldo's in the corner. I was like, all right, dog, like need more from you still. But anyway, this week, I mean, just let me know when my boys can keep the ball out of the back of their net. I don't I don't see it happening anytime soon. They just can't. I think they've allowed. We gave the stat last week. It's like now it's like 38 goals. I want to say in the last 20, 22, 23 games. Like that's not good.
Not a good stat.
And with Spurs firepower, I mean, it's a scary task at Stamford Bridge this week. I would not again. We say this all the time. Like I wouldn't even be shocked if somehow Chelsea pulled out a win here. But I mean, I expect there to be goals either way. Chelsea score. They figured out how to score, which is cool because that's something that hasn't happened in the past. Now the problem is keeping it out of their own net, which I don't know if they can. So getting it over 3.5 in a rivalry game, I like that. Fun game.
Fun game. Got to take it. We both have Hoffenheim, Leipzig over 3.5 here. I just parlayed it with City money line against Wolves just to make the odds better because it was pretty steep at over 3.5. But would you like to ride with me on that, or are you going to take the juice?
I think what was the juice like minus 140?
Dude, I checked at like minus 160, 165.
The 3.5?
It was pretty
I
high.
think on FanDuel I saw minus like 140. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess I could parlay it. I already have City minus 2.5, which we'll get to. I think.
Yeah, that is
I
true. Go
mean,
ahead, jump into that, I guess. Oh my
yeah.
god.
Listen, I mean, City have to win out, and they're champions, and I don't see Wolves standing in their way. To be honest, I mean, this is an absolute freight train coming down the hill with just a couple games to go. So I expect a masterclass. To be honest, at the Etihad this weekend, this is what they do. I feel like down the stretch, they just take care of the mediocre teams, to be honest, and they usually do it pretty handily. So a Foden masterclass, a De Bruyne masterclass, whatever you want. I feel like this could be a 3-0 or 4-0 kind of game for City. It's just I don't know. I just based on the recent history, that's just what they do down the stretch. So minus 2.5, it's around like minus 105. I'll take that for a team as talented as City and against a team like Wolves. Back to the Leipzig Hoffenheim over 3.5. Like you said, Hoffenheim just leaking so many goals. um, just no defense there whatsoever. And we
They
saw
do
what
score
Leipzig
goals.
did. They do. And we saw what Leipzig did to Dortmund last week. So um, we know that they have the firepower. We've talked about it so many times in this episode how I like Leipzig overs. And historically, it's always been a pretty good play. So with these two teams going up against each other, I mean, that's the play. You got to take the over.
Xavi Simmons, Luis Openda, Andre Kramaric on the other side. I love this at over 3.5. and the odds show, how good it should be. So I'm liking this a lot, and I'm definitely going to be taking this with City money line to just make the odds more close to even. And then I also took Chelsea versus West Ham money line. Might as well take two in 1 week. I think this is like my fifth Chelsea over I've been riding as of late, and West Ham have been pretty leaky, and so they put two up against Liverpool. I was fairly impressed with their performance. So I think they're going to give Chelsea some trouble, especially as Chelsea play on Thursday. They're going to probably rotate a little bit. And I think this could be a really tough game for Chelsea here. And I'm going to go ahead and take this over 3.5 over.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you. It's not something I currently have, but it definitely could be something that could be placed in the future. Probably put down another Mikel Antonio goal because that guy, it's something I swear to God, every time he plays Chelsea, he scores. And so, like, with the way we're giving up goals, like, I could very well see him getting one. But yeah, I don't blame you for taking another Chelsea West Ham or a Chelsea over because they've been absolutely smacking.
And you're going back to the well, not Stuttgart plus a half, but you're taking Stuttgart money line against Bayern this weekend. Talk us through that.
Yeah, this is also part of me of just like Bayern have just relinquished the Bundesliga. Like, part of me thinks that like this Champions League tie with Madrid is literally the only thing on their mind right now, and probably for Tuchel too. Like, I mean, he already knows he's not coming back next year. Like, I think he'd care less if. I mean, obviously, he would not like to lose this game by a large amount. That would be bad. But I mean, I don't think he'll necessarily be pissed if they found a way to lose this game like 1-0. And Stuttgart, like I mentioned earlier, fighting for second and fighting over Bayern's a big deal. I mean, not many teams finish over Bayern in general in the Bundesliga. So if they're able to lock down that second place, I think that would be huge just for the confidence of their players. Guirassy and Undav obviously have had unbelievable years. And I just like this spot. I mean, you're getting them plus close to even. And I just think they're the more motivated team, to be honest, right now, at least in the Bundesliga. Obviously, Bayern's motivated in different ways, but I think Stuttgart, this game specifically, this is a good spot for them.
I agree. I mean, they're the favorites in this match, so I think Vegas agrees with you here, which is a little scary that Stuttgart's favored here. If they gave me the plus half again, I would be joining you here. But you never know. I just don't like.
It is at Stuttgart, so I mean,
it is at Stuttgart. That's fair. That's fair. That could be a fun game. Definitely gonna have to catch that game and watch that 100%. But to lead the Bundesliga and go to Spain, Barcelona, Girona, second and third play, fun game over. Barcelona watched them against Valencia last night. Their defense high line did not impress me at all. When you got a player like Savio and Sagankov and Dubovnik running in behind, I think that's going to spell trouble here for Barcelona. I also think Barcelona with Lewandowski off a hat trick should be able to give Girona some trouble. So I think this is going to be a really fun game for the neighboring clubs. I think when you see these big games, when Girona plays a big team, the over has like hit like within the top four opponents has just printed. So I'm going to keep riding this trend to the death, and I'm just going to not back aside here, but I'm going to back the over at over 3.5 and hope we get it done.
I don't blame you. I mean, fun game overs. It's what we do here. So, yeah, there's a lot of attacking talent on both sides. And I didn't necessarily watch the Valencia game last night, but I saw how they played against Real Madrid. And that game was wide open. And maybe that was just because it was El Clasico and I don't know, that game was just crazy in and of itself. But there's plenty of attacking talent to go around for both teams. So I could easily see this game getting the four somehow. Yeah, big game for both teams.
Yeah, because Girona would leapfrog Barcelona if they won this. So this is a big one for the title. Barcelona need that second spot just financially. So it's going to be an interesting match, not only for our bets, but for the table itself. To round it off with my MLS plays here, LAFC San Jose over 3. LAFC don't keep clean sheets. San Jose are arguably the worst team in the entire league by a country mile. So the fact that Vegas is giving me an over 3 here, don't really get it. But LAFC have one of the best rosters in the entire MLS, and I think over 3 is going to print here. And then to give me over 3 when you have Messi playing New York Red Bulls, both teams are great for the over. I just like the number at over 3. It's a very safe number, and I'm going to take over 3 here. What do you think about those MLS plays?
I will be writing. I failed to last week, even though I said I was going to.
I texted you too,
I
personally.
know. I just I just had a brain cramp. Yeah, we were checking out the San Jose Earthquakes recent games before this started, and it does not look good for them.
No.
They are troublesome at the back, if I'll say it lightly. So
Historically
yeah,
mid.
no, always been mid. So yeah, that one I feel like is gonna fly specifically. And then Miami, New York, like you said, like Messi just creates just so many chances. Like they score goals like it's nothing. It's crazy. They got Kramaski back too, which is big for
Big.
them. And Suarez scored a nice goal last week. So there's plenty of firepower for Miami. Could see the 3 getting there easily. Also at home, I feel like they just take care of business at home. Like they just put on a show. So yeah, I think both of those should smack.
And the Miami game last week, which I meant to put on my card, did not. They played New York Red Bulls, and they had 2 guys man marking Messi the entire game, and he
You mean
still
the Revolution?
sorry, Revolution, and they tried to man mark Messi, and they still could not stop him. He still scored, and like it's literally hopeless. There is no good game plan for him. You will not figure out a game plan for Messi. Just face it. You can do what you can, but if you're going to man mark him, then that means Suarez or Busquets or Kramashi or whoever else is going to be open, and you're honestly hurting your team even more by doing that. But to round it off within the last plays for both of us in the Premier League, you have Aston Villa pick 'em. Who do they
Yeah,
play?
they play Brighton on the road.
Off a big
This one I'm
Thursday.
a little, yeah, yeah. This one, I'm a little nervous about, to be honest. But Aston Villa is just much better than Brighton. And again, they're playing important games down the stretch, which is something that, I mean, I guess last year they were fighting for important games down the stretch, but these also are important games. Big games for Unai Emery. And they're in decent form. I mean, obviously they tied Chelsea, which they haven't really played great against Chelsea this year, to be honest. I don't know why. Maybe just a weird matchup. I'm sure Nicholas Jackson, they're like have nightmares about that guy, but unlike any other team. Um, but I just feel like the line was close. It was like plus 175 for Brighton, plus 130 for Aston Villa, which makes me think it's going to be a tight one. That made me almost feel like I had to take the pick 'em just because I could definitely see it ending in a draw. But there's just so much attacking talent for Aston Villa, and I would rather lean on that than Brighton, even though they've been solid defensively this year. They've gone under in many games this year, but I would just rather lean on the team that's fighting for more right now.
Can't blame you. Brian haven't exactly been in good form as of late either. They've been humbled quite a bit
No,
recently. In very bad form, very injured. So I understand the play. Especially if they kind of have a walk in the park on Thursday against Olympiacos. My last play is Palace United over 3. Eze, Elise, Mateta front 3 is going to haunt that United back line. They've been pretty good at the back, but I still think United with Bruno Fernandes should be able to kind of answer a little bit. So I think over 3 is a very safe number on the Monday, and I think this will be a very, very, very fun game, especially considering that Manchester United tied Burnley 1-1. Off a terrible result. They're going to look to bounce back here as Ten Hag is on borrowed time.
should say something considering that Palace is the favorite in this game. I mean,
I didn't even notice that. That's
I
insane.
I kind of want to play Palace.
Me too.
I kind of want to play a Mateta anytime goal. Um,
Me as well.
that, that that definitely could be in the cards. So yeah, I mean, God, we've talked about United enough. They're just like
Terrible.
they're just
Terrible.
yeah. I don't know what to say about them really. They're just shit, to be honest. So
So bad.
yeah, are we making a parlay or no?
No,
Is, it,
no
is there
parlay
an
this
option?
time. We got to get back to it. So we'll scheme a parlay for the next show since we're already kind of running late here. But just to recap, I got PSG Dortmund over 3, PSG tie no bet, Mbappe goal or assist, Villa money line parlayed with Bayer Pick'em, Chelsea Spurs over 3.5, Hoffenheim Leipzig over 3.5 parlayed with City money line, Chelsea West Ham over 3.5, Barca Girona over 3.5, LAFC San Jose over 3, Miami New York Red Bulls over 3, Palace United over 3, and Harrison.
I have Dortmund PSG over 3, Chelsea Spurs over 3.5, Leverkusen money line against Roma in the Europa League, Leipzig Hoffenheim over 3.5, Stuttgart money line against Bayern, City -2.5, and Aston Villa pick'em against Brighton.
There
And
we
we'll be
go.
adding the MLS plays, and we'll be adding the MLS plays.
My guy, my guy. Well, thank you so much, Harrison, for another great episode. And we'll be back with you sometime next week to recap and give you some more plays for the midweek fixtures as well as next weekend's games. Best of luck here and hope you win all your bets.